Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, I've held back this song from playing. These are 70s classic hits non-stop. And the very first song that's coming on is one of those songs when I was a kid. My sister, we would come back from Louisiana. My father would take us boys, the three of us and my father, and we would travel to Louisiana by truck. We sleep along the highway, rest stops, and we get there, spend a couple of weeks, then we'd leave and go to another state and travel. One summer he took us to 37 different states. The entire summer we spent on the road. Those were the days. I can do what you can't. Never ever let. I'm sorry. All in the family. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I would come home and a song would come on the radio and I'd start singing it. My sister's like, how do you know this song? This song just came out. I heard that song months ago. That's when music was music, where they played it on the East Coast first before it came to the West Coast. And then, then you had rap. They started playing it on the West Coast, and then you had to catch up on the East Coast, and they were battling between the West Coast and the East Coast, so what song came out first? And now we have Payola, where you can't tell where the song came from. You just know somebody paid to have it there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, while we talk about our Infinite State update, the birth certificate saga continues. We're going to let this play in the background without any further ado. I pronounce you man and idiot. I know you thought I was going to do R&B. Well, believe it or not, some of you don't understand. This was considered R&B.
No, it wasn't. It was considered slow rock.
Excuse me. Soft rock, slow rock. No, this was considered R&B because it got more play in those communities than it got in the so-called other communities. Sorry, Michael McDonald. Go ahead and ask anybody if they think that he is not a soul singer. So don't try to correct me on stuff like this, because I don't talk about stuff I don't know. And it's really need to know how deep is your love? I really need to know. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the birth certificates, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, what we've been doing is we weren't trying to overpressure them. So I'm sorry if you all didn't know. So I'm going to explain it so that you all know what's going on, so that you'll see that, again, I've been completely honest with you guys. I haven't hidden anything from you regarding this process. But you knew the same as I knew that they would try to stop us recording these birth certificates. That's why you asked me for my help. That's why you asked us to do it for you. Why? Because you knew that it had more of a likelihood of getting done if I did it as opposed to if you did it. Ladies and gentlemen, when I left to go to Chicago this past week, the plane had a layover in Minnesota. And that's one of the places where we've been filing. Then I also was in Atlanta. And by being there, ladies and gentlemen, we've been having the same problem. And I'm seeing that other people are having the same problem. Because that's that same hoe that was on such and such video. And man, that's the same hoe that was on such and such video. See, everybody having the same problem with the same hoe. Okay? So what I've had to do is I've had to call 3 different jurisdictions and say, look, people, you guys didn't pay attention. You were just saying no to me and my group because we're sending them to you in bulk. We're not overwhelming them. I wouldn't do that. If we send something to them, it's not going to be more than 5 at a time. Why? Because we don't want them to be confused. Like the deer in the headlight issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I received a call from them, and you know what they told me? Well, I didn't receive a call. I called them this morning when I woke up. Because, see, we let the nice guy, we play good cop, bad cop. We let the nice guy give them a call. All three. They all had the very same answer, so they're working together, ladies and gentlemen. They all had the exact same answer, exact same practices. So I basically told them this. I said, hey, such and such to each one. What you didn't know is that I already had somebody file it in your county. I just had to wait for it to be complete in 3 different counties. The reason for that is so I could show that you're doing an issue of prejudice here, that you're being selective. I said, Francis's birth certificate has been filed, ladies and gentlemen. They certified it, placed it on the record. They put it in her maiden name because that was...
Oh, what a night!
Anyway, they put it in her maiden name because that's the name that's on the birth certificate. So let me tell you what you all have to do. You all have to do a statement in your affidavit explaining name changes. You don't need an order from a judge. They just want you to explain it. That's all. So we're going to leave a space for that. I'm going to redo, so you don't have to wait till Friday. I'm going to redo the affidavit. You see, because there are 2 other affidavits you have to do. So we're going to kill it by adding part of the information to the memorialization affidavit. Each one of the jurisdictions said, hey, we don't want y'all using Minnesota Court Rule 220. Even Minnesota said that. But I figured if we use the rule, they get it. There's the law. But they said no. That's actually gonna cause it to probably be rejected or delayed. Okay, by next Monday. That's right. Next Monday, like Al Bundy. Next Monday. 24th is Thursday, I believe. Let's look at my... Yep, 24th is Thursday. 25th is Friday. 26, 27, 28. Any birth certificates received after the 28th must be on the new affidavits. That will be produced on Friday. This will be... All you have to do is just fill in your name. You don't have to worry about the 2 social security numbers that I did for mine. Remember, it was only an outline, only a design. Okay? So we're going to redo it. We're going to add the other information. Those of you who have already sent your birth certificates, remember, I told you it was only a suggestion. So don't worry about it. All of you are already in. Your grandfathered in. We're going to take care of the other information on a different affidavit. All you need to do is get that affidavit documented. I am going to be filing it on at least 2 more different public records. So don't worry about your documents not getting filed because you'll have it on at least 3 different public records. And there will be instructions. So there'll be a video put out on Friday showing you how you should fill in the birth certificate. Okay? Now, those of you who don't get it, you can try sending it on your own and take a chance, and I'm gonna let you. I ain't gonna stop you. Or you gonna let us do it for you? Because we did all the work. We found out how to get it done. You see, that's what the phone calls were. That's why you came to me. Because you knew that I was tenacious.
Oh, what a night!
Okay? You knew that was me.
Oh, that was just a great song. Oh, this is another song.
It's not a song.
It is a song. It's one of those songs I used to come on and sing to my sister. One of the BJ and the Bear songs. Y'all know BJ and the Bear? Red Jones and the Bear. Wanted me a monkey. A chimpanzee. Yeah. Let's see. This was BJ and the Bear. And this wasn't Nowhere Man.
Three for the Road. You guys remember Three for the Road? I love that show, and the next thing you know, they took it off the air. Hey, don't stop, y'all. Okay, let's get back to our story about the birth certificate and how we're going to put out a video on Friday explaining how to fill out the affidavit, because some of you people are so lazy that you're pissing me off and you're having my attitude come out quite often on the telephone because you think that I'm here to cater to you. Ladies and gentlemen, do not call me asking me questions without doing the research in advance. I want you to know this, like I did one guy today. Well, I actually did several people today. Understand this, the first question I'm going to ask is, did you do your homework? Because if you ask me a question and I can tell by your question whether or not you did your homework, I'm going to hang up on you. Because you'll be wasting my time. Especially if I've talked about a subject on video and then you're calling me because I'm going to get some clarification. Then do your own mother homework, people. Oh, by the way, the video I did this morning, Brett's Reality, I think it's called, something like that. I don't know. Well, that video, some of you will get. I don't expect all of you to get it, but some of you will. And that right there brings a smile to my face, because that video was meant for you. It wasn't meant for everybody. Remember, 83 to 88% of you, that video will serve no beneficial purpose. I'm looking for that 14%. I keep telling you about the 14%ers. Okay, I'm looking for that 14%. That's what I'm looking for. But, you know, that's why it was put under the publisher and didn't have a date on it. Okay? Yesterday's gone! Sorry, I apologize. I'm tired, been up since 5, went to sleep at 2, and got off the plane and didn't get here. Didn't get no sleep on the plane, was falling asleep, bobbing and weaving. Just bobbing and weaving my head. Huh? What? Oh, give me a napkin so I can clean that up. Yeah. Hey guys, you I know y'all know this song. You see, where else can you go and get this, ladies and gentlemen? You said you can go to YouTube, but how can you go to YouTube and get this and then get this information at the same time? Who else does it? Other people have tried, but this is my style, ladies and gentlemen. This is my style. Other people can try it, but it won't be the same, because I'm not pretending. All the stuff you hear me say, look at all the people who go to the seminars or who are around me for 10, 15 minutes. I told you about the young lady in Atlanta. Bryce's grandmother. That's who the young lady is. It's Bryce's grandmother. She never met me before. She watched the videos with Bryce, and I'm in there talking with them, and we're having a conversation, and I'm being me. And I go to the restroom, and they have a conversation about me when I leave. People always talk about me when I walk out the room. Always. But they only told me the good stuff. They said, when you walked out, she said, you know, he sounds just like that man on them videos. Can you imagine the look on her face when he says, Ma, that is him? And how she said, I said, I'm in here with a star. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a star. And some of you are, you answered my call. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you call me, I put my number out there. I'm not going to ignore you. Okay? If I can answer the phone, I'll answer the phone. But, you know, I told somebody yesterday They wanted to communicate with me. They had questions for me. So while I'm on the plane, getting ready to taxi, they're sending me a text message. And I'm letting them know, I said, guys, I haven't even made it back to California yet. And you want to set up a conversation with me and someone else when you know that I'm going back to California tonight and I've had a long weekend? I said, no. And so he asked if they could call today. And I said, no, downtime, all right? I'm just getting back home. I haven't even made it home yet. And you people are asking to communicate with me, for me to set up appointments with you. Let me have a moment to breathe before you guys stop. We're not friends. I told you all, I have no friends. We're not friends. So stop trying to take advantage. You're only causing damage. You're only going to make me hate you. I'm not joking. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. I'm letting you know that I care about all people. Not one or two or three of you, all of you. But I'm not going to let you take advantage. You are not family. Family gets to take advantage, not you. So stop. You don't want to be in that position. It's not a good place.
I was in that place once. Oh, and it was horrible. It was horrible. It's okay. It's okay. No, it's not okay. You had to be there.
I was. Hey, if you leave me now. This was one of my favorite songs of all time. I like the way this song is done. I like the music, the melody.
And you know, the rhythm is just great, but I know you're not going to sing that song.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a very, very well orchestrated, put together, engineered piece of art. This song right here. It was done real well. Hey guys, I don't know all the names of all these old songs, so that's why I can't give them credit. I can't tell you if this is the Doobie Brothers because they all sound the same back then. But if it is, they're my boys. Okay?
Slip away.
Alright. Another BJ and the Bear. Sorry. You see, most people didn't get it, but I did as a child when I watched BJ and the Bear, and yes, I've seen every episode of BJ and the Bear. That was my show. This was the music that would play in the background, this type of music when BJ and the Bear was on. You know why they played this type of music? Because this is the type of music that played on those radio stations when you're on the highway and there are no houses and there's nothing but just land. This is those radio stations. And when you're flipping through the dial and you're trying to find something, you guys have heard the TV shows mimic the flipping through all the station and finally finding a song like this and staying there. Well, much practice. Much practice. So, this was my song. Well, let's get back to giving you your update about the infant estate. Ladies and gentlemen, by Friday we will have information up about the lawsuit. Many of you are asking, how can you join the lawsuit? I will tell you that we will start accepting the individuals introducing themselves and their paperwork. We'll have a website for you to upload the information, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to upload your information. That information will then be taken from that and put off-site to where it can't be touched, and the location where it will be off-site will have 3 different backups, plus scanners, viruses, malware, spyware, and all the other protection to keep your files from being corrupted. Thanks to a young man named German, I'm giving you a shout out. He actually, at his own expense, without my input, went out of his pocket and bought an 8 terabyte hard drive for me. He saw the problems I was having. What he didn't know is that he was giving my brother and I an actual workstation, our own little mini server. Well, he knew that, but he didn't know that eventually I would figure that out. Okay? So, thank you, Mr. German. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, it is German and his friend Vincent that have been testing out certain things, uncovering things for you all, so that y'all can have access to Remedy. Okay? Now, let me... Ladies and gentlemen, listen! But many of you people weren't around then, or you didn't listen to this, or you didn't travel. But many of you will be like, no man, I'm from Chicago on those cold days and those cold nights when we were stuck in the house for 4 or 5 days in a row. This is all we listened to. Yeah, see, those of you who come from a different culture, a culture of color, you listen to other music during those boring times or those times where you had no money. But there were other people in this country who were stuck in their houses during the winter, or those of you who were stuck in your houses during the so-called rainy seasons. And you let this music play in the background, or another genre of music playing in the background. Usher and Michael Jackson are not a genre of music. And next, I'd like to talk about soul playing. I may not get there with you, but I do know one thing. I'm going to Canada. Alright, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we are one. I have people talking about what they've done to black people. Ladies and gentlemen, they've done the same thing to every race. People want to point out the white man, the Caucasian. They want to point out the European, the Jew. Ladies and gentlemen, why not Shaka Zulu? Shaka Zulu. Yeah, who would conquer other nations, and he would sell the people he conquered, the blacks, as slaves to the white men. And the white men ended up coming and saying, hey, we ain't paying you no more for them. We can take these from you. You ain't nobody. Go ahead and watch it. Zulu. It's the name of the show. YouTube it. Watch it. See what happened. So quit ignoring the fact that every single group, culture, race, people have their atrocities. Stop pointing the blame and pointing the finger. We are all man, including woman, which is simply male with a womb. We're all man. So we are all culpable. I can't blame him. I have to blame me before I can blame him. Because we're all the same. I know, some of you are too ignorant to understand that. And if the fact that I said that you're too ignorant with the T-O-O, and you get upset, or it rubs you the wrong way, let me stroke and rub you the right way, Johnny Gill. If it rubs you the wrong way, that means two things. You took it personal, and you feel guilty. Because if I say that people are ignorant because of their prejudices, and you take offense, then guess what? That means you understood what I was saying. So if anything I've said thus far has caused you some offense, that means you understood. That means that what I said wasn't so far off the rocker after all. So don't blame me for your prejudice. Don't blame me for your ignorance. Now, I want to say this because this is necessary. Many of you are calling me trying to get me to help you figure out a process that you've started. Or if you need to add this or add that. Don't do that. Don't call me asking me questions like that. Because that's not my job. I told you all. I told you all. If you want me to fill in the blanks for your processes, and we'll talk about it, the Chicago. Well, as a matter of fact, we got time. I'm going to talk about it now. I've already given you the information on the update. There'll be an update on the infant estate on Friday. There'll be an update on mortgages on Friday. And there'll be an update on the lawsuit on Friday. Okay? And the updates on the birth certificates is going to be stuff like this. There's a power of attorney agreement. General power of attorney. Okay? But there's a lot more stuff in here. Let's see. See? A lot more stuff. We're going to talk about that. That's one. Then, when you're doing your affidavits to file on the county record, we're telling you to do this. We'll talk about that on Friday. We'll talk about that on Friday. Got to get rid of these because that's not my property. That's somebody else's property. We got to get rid of that. But we're going to keep the rest of this because that's okay. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to listen to the video on infants on Friday because I just came up with something that I know it's going to be so perfect because it covers 3 different jurisdictions on that one document. Okay, but we'll talk about that on Friday. Okay? Let's get back to the information I think all of you should know. This is what's going to be happening. When I went out to the Chicagoland, I told the people from day one, I said, people, this is not going to be how you think it's going to be. I said, I am not here to answer your questions. I said, what I am here to do is to shore up your foundations. Because each of you have started a process, have started doing this, have tried doing that, have started doing that. And you're missing so many pieces. Well, I'm here to help put those pieces in place for you. So that now you can stand on your own foundation. You can stand on your own square. You will know what you're talking about. So I gave them the information on where notice came from. Do you not realize that everybody's always talking about giving notice? The court gives you notice. You receive a notice of default. Notice. Did you notice that? Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about notice. Why? Lanier versus the United States. Go ahead and read that case when you get a chance. That was a judge. This judge had sex with 5 other women in his office, sexually harassing each one of them. He was found guilty, but he had a clever attorney. The attorney said, Your Honor, because speaking to the appeals court, y'all can't let this stand. Them women never gave him notice that they were going to sue him. Never gave him notice that they were going to sue him. Yes, he has a right to be notified. Well, you're right. He does have a due process right to be notified. So that makes the verdict invalid. Yeah, because you can't have one without the other. Okay, there you go. He's free to go. Lanier versus United States, 1979. You see, what I got to do is I got to discriminate. Anyway, I got to document and demonstrate what I knew off the top of my head because I had no notes. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't prepare mentally for this. I knew what I wanted to do and I set about it. The idea was not to give these individuals new information because there is no new information. If you don't understand there is nothing new under the sun, then you will never understand. Okay? Well, the first thing was to explain to them about teaching techniques. So what I told them, I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And Jehovah's Witnesses have this thing. I'm going to type it into Google. Now, Google, ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of what I'm about to type in, Google is not the source for information because they have no clue. TheocraticMinistry. You see, Theocratic Ministry School, Theocratic Ministry School Review, this is a school. Now, people say it's a school. It's a school. Theocratic Ministry School. Let's see what happens, what goes on at Theocratic Ministry School. In ministry and leadership. This ain't it. This is not the Theocratic Ministry School. Neither is this. Okay? This is somebody putting this up here. And so, as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, because the Theocratic Ministry School is the property and work of Jehovah's Witnesses, this school is designed to teach people how to become ministers. Come on, open up. I see you behind that curtain. What? It's 8:59. That's just before 9 o'clock. We don't knock on doors before 9. Y'all knocked on my door at 7 o'clock on morning. Excuse me. Jehovah's Witnesses do not knock on people's doors at no stupid 7 o'clock in the morning. Or 12 o'clock in the evening. Okay? It's an organization. See? Congregation. They're the most organized group of people on this planet as an organization. Why? Because every Kingdom Hall does the exact same thing. No matter what the language, they're all doing the exact same thing. If there's one true God, then there can only be one way to serve Him. So they'd have to do it that way. You guys know this instrumental? Okay, let's get back to explaining what's going on. Somebody did a Facebook. I don't want to do this. I don't care about the 29,000 likes. Jehovah's Witnesses don't do social media as an organization. They don't sponsor it, nor do they advertise it. Okay? This is just people out there doing their own thing. This, however, you see, Theocratic benefit from Theocratic Ministry School Education, jw.org, that's the official. Now, let's do this. Let's see what they considered the week beginning December 29, 2014. This is given to every congregation, so all of the men and the women prepare this information. They study this. How do they study? Well, because this is given to each one of them before that meeting for this week, it's one day during the week, but it depends on the congregation, the city, and all that, and the number of people. What day during the week, that's the alternating thing, but it all is done during this week. That's why before it even happens, everybody has the date. And guess what they're going over? Well, this one is going over this scripture. You are sons of Jehovah your God. Do not cut yourselves or shave your foreheads for a dead person. This is talking about the people who used to cut themselves in ritual for mourning over a dead person. Now, I didn't read this, ladies and gentlemen, but I know what it's talking about because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I know what they're studying. And I've been over that scripture many times. So pay attention. How do we view the command of Deuteronomy? Deuteronomy, meaning second law. Prohibiting self-mutilation during a period of mourning for a dead person. That's what that scripture is talking about. Let's talk about this next one. Deuteronomy 17:18 through 20. When he takes a seat on the throne of his kingdom, the king must write for himself in a book a copy of this law, taken from the one kept by the Levitical priests. It is to remain with him, and he must read from it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to fear Jehovah his God and observe all the words that this law and these regulations by carrying them out. Thus his heart will not exalt itself above his brothers, and he will not deviate from the commandment, either to the right or to the left, so that he may remain a long time over his kingdom, and he and his sons in the midst of Israel. So what are we learning here? What is the objective of having the king of Israel make a copy of God's law and to read in it all the days of his life? The objective was for him to keep it in his head, for him to realize his frailties and the frailties of the people, so that he would never overly burden them or treat them more harsh. And if you knew anything about the law, having to copy it, then he was to be likened to a scribist, like Ezra, the scribist, the copyist. And that means he couldn't have made a mistake. So that would have meant his concentration. That would have meant his focus. That would have meant his not being distracted. That would have meant that he would have had to have devoted some time to the God that he served. And because he was to read in it all the days of his life, he was being taught to devote time to the God that he served every day of his life. Why is it stated that you must not plow with a bull and a donkey together? And how does this command about even yoking apply to Christians? Yeah, even yoke. The scriptures tell you about not doing that. You must not plow with a bull and a donkey together. And so they talked about it in the Watchtower. Let's go back to the king for a moment, and then we're going to move on, because we ain't got to do anything else. This is taken, wait a minute, where you going? I ain't asked you to go there. You see it jump? Oh, it went to the Watchtower. Okay, because I clicked it. Look at what it says. This is the Watchtower 2002, and this is the June 15th, page 4, paragraph 4. So page 12, paragraph 4. It says, what did God's directions for kings involve? Yes, the king that Jehovah would choose for his worshipers was to make a personal copy of the writings that you can find in your Bible. Then the king was to read in that copy daily, repeatedly. Now, what you all don't know, and what I'm going over, when I say they go over this together, what you don't know is that a couple of months before, see, this is the review. Okay, this is the review. So they do the review, I think, 4 times a year, every 3 months. And during those 3 months, somebody actually gave a talk on this, or there was a talk or something that covered this information. And this is a review. And this is bringing back to the people's mind what they had gone over several months before. So, Theocratic Ministry School Review. It's a school where you study and you have question and answer, and you in the audience, you get to raise your hand and answer a question that's been asked regarding this information. You see, after the person who's doing the review reads this, people raise their hand to comment on this. They don't read this whole scripture, and they don't read these whole paragraphs. Not enough time. This thing goes on for about maybe 30, 35 minutes, maybe 25 minutes at the least. It will be 10 minutes, but it's not long. And something like this looks like it'll be a 20-minute talk, because it's only 10 questions, but it's a lot of scripture, a lot of paragraphs. So there's a lot of commenting that is done, and they give them time to comment. How many of you get to comment in the places where you go to learn? Like I said, it's a school called the Theocratic Ministry School. This is where I learned to give talks. This is where I learned to speak before people. They taught me well. They taught me so well that one time it went to my head. I actually gave one of these talks, and I did not open my Bible one time. So not. Nope. I gave that talk without opening the Bible one time, because everything was by memory. And this was after my operation. Everything was by memory. By the time I finished that talk, man, I was walking, and I promise you, for the life of me, my feet never touched the ground. It wasn't until about 15 minutes later that I realized that everything was about to hit the fan. My God does not like pride. And I was giving him pride. A lot of it. Taking credit. Not even opening his Bible. And it's called the Theocratic. People. Theo. God. Cratic. Rule. The God. Rule. Ministry school.
Mini. I never looked at it that way. Mini. The Theocratic Mini School. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the techniques that they taught me during this week, there was a publication. It's called the Theocratic Ministry School. Well, it was called the Theocratic Ministry School Guidebook. And it's now just referred to as the Ministry School book, where it teaches you how to work on certain things. Like if you need to work on gaining the audience attention, gestures, pitch control and modulation in word, sentence stress. There's probably about 40 to 50 different points that book covers that helps you to work on it, gives you a description of it. When people were first learning this and going over this book, do you know what they were doing? Acting like robots. Okay? Acting like robots. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, many of Jehovah's Witnesses have gone through this school, and they're now the ones who give the talks. They're no reverends, they're no deacons. They're now the ones who give the talks at the Kingdom Hall, at their conventions, at their assemblies. These men will travel from one Kingdom Hall to another, delivering a talk, and that's what we refer to it as, delivering a talk. They are the very same ones who come to your door to talk to you about the Bible. The Theocratic Ministry School and the service meeting, well, it's not called the service meeting anymore, but that's where we learned how to be better ministers. That's how we learned how to speak to people, how to handle conversation objections or conversation stoppers. See, you people, that's right, I did a Ross Perot. Go to your church and you have your reverends, deacons, preachers, priests, rabbis tell you how to respond to a Jehovah's Witness. And that's fine. What you don't understand is that we already covered how to handle those conversations. That's why they don't work. Because we go to school. You only catch it once or twice. We actually go to school to become better at handling those conversations. So I told the people in the seminar, ladies and gentlemen, some people are not going to like me for this, especially Jehovah's Witnesses. But I get a lot of people talking about they wish Jehovah's Witnesses would not come to their door. Well, you ain't said nothing. The next time Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door and you don't want them at your door, you just say, excuse me, but I would really appreciate it if you don't knock on my door anymore. I don't appreciate you guys coming here. Okay, sir, give me 1 second. I'm just going to write down your address because I have to give it to the one who has the territory card for this area so that he can put it in there so that they can be a notation. And if they make a mistake and knock on your door again, just remind them that you have asked this to be put in the record. And I'm sorry that you feel that way. Perhaps in the future things could change, but for now, I apologize. You have a good day. Just that simple. If you don't want Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your door, just tell them, I don't want you coming here no more. No, I told them that in the past. You're a liar. You're a liar. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses, like I said, they have trained and practiced for conversation stoppers, for negative conversations. So that's only for them to make sure that you've made that choice. Why? I'm only going to show you this once, then we're going to finish with my conversation, okay? I don't want to hear it, people. I'm doing this because I think people need to know what's really going on instead of what people are shouting and talking. We're going to go to the very last book of Matthew, the 28th chapter. And when we get to Matthew, the 28th chapter, get out of here, I don't need you. Get to Matthew, the 28th chapter. Okay, we're going to go to 19 and 20. Well, we're going to cover 18 too, because this is Jesus. And this is what he's saying. It says, Jesus approached and spoke to them just before being resurrected to the heavens. He says, all authority has been given me in heaven and on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, it says Jesus said this. So Jesus is not God, for if he was God, who in the could give him authority? Go ahead, check all the Bibles. They all say the same thing. Oh, that was when he was... Shut up. Nothing in here says that's when he was in this condition or disposition or discapacity. Nothing. That's junk people have added. So let's see what the cross-reference scripture says. You know, it's really not helping with you sitting up there pretending like you're gonna cuss or something. It says, for this reason, God exalted him. Two different people, because this is speaking of Jesus, to a superior position and kindly gave him a name that is above every other name. Ladies and gentlemen, if Jesus was God, how could he give himself a name that was above every other name? Give him something. Give him. Which he exercised towards Christ when he raised him up from the dead. That's right. His Father raised him up from the dead. Something that is dead is not alive. He was dead for 3 days. I know those of you who don't believe he was resurrected, that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is if he was God, like so many people try to say, could he die? Then that would make him not God. That would make him not eternal. Because God cannot. Well, only part of him died. You ignorant mother. How could part of God die and he be said to be eternal? Because then that would make him a liar. Because he says he cannot die. That means not even a part of him can die. Again, these are not religious videos, people. I'm just pointing out what's going on. So let me get back to explaining to you about why Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door. Go, therefore. You see, they've been commanded to go and make disciples of peoples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. But you Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't believe in the Holy Spirit. Stupid, ignorant, moronic idiots. Just parroting what somebody else said. I'm glad I'm talking about this right now. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I got one more thing to show you about this, then we're going to move on. I typed in the phrase house to house. I should have said from house to house. But because Jesus didn't go from house to house. I don't want to go to the what people refer to as the Old Testament. It's actually called the Hebrew Scriptures. I want to go to the... No, not that one. That's when he sent them out in the 10th chapter of Luke. If you ever get a chance, read the 10th chapter where he sends them from house to house. But this is Acts the 5th chapter verse 42. After they've been beaten, it tells you what they did. Uh-oh. Okay. 42. It says, and every day in the temple and from house to house they continued without let up, teaching and declaring the good news, which is the other word for gospel, about the Christ Jesus. Jehovah's Witnesses go from house to house because they've been commanded to go. They're not doing that well, they are doing it because they want to. They are not forced to do it. They're not going to be demoted. They're not going to receive some extra penance or anything like that by going. They do it free of charge. Nobody pays them. When you see them out there on a Saturday morning, that's because they didn't go out drinking on Friday night and hanging out with their buddies or watching a baseball game or basketball game all night. They had to go to sleep early. They had to prepare. They don't just come knocking on your door unprepared. Do you not know they study before they come to your door? They prepare a presentation. So what I'm trying to get you all to understand, if you don't want them at your door, tell them, I don't want you here no more. Put me on the list. It's called the do not call list. Those of you who have churches and your preachers and your reverends and your rabbi, they talk about it. They talk about how to respond to Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm one of them. Just simply say, can you please put me and my house on your do not call list? Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. No more jokes. No more talking about they don't believe in this and they don't believe in that. There you go. Like I said, a lot of people are not going to like that, especially Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not that it's private information, but they suggest that you should come to that conclusion on your own. And I'm saying,
Why waste anybody's time? Why not just have you do what's in your heart now? You guys talk about Jehovah's Witnesses like they're the worst thing on the planet. So, this is, like I said, we're going to move on. But I want to let you know. What I want to let you know? Well, at the seminar, the first thing I told the people was I wanted them to get a sense of who I was, where I come from, where I've been, how I got there, and where I was going with things. Yeah, we'll do the English. No. Hey, guys. Everybody needs. I like this song, ladies and gentlemen. A lot. See, I thought I was at jw.org, but this is wol.jw.org. So we're going to go to jw.org. Now, that was jw.org, okay? They even have tv.jw.org. But I want to take you to some videos, okay? Everybody's high. Everybody's trying to tell me what's right for me. Right for me. I need a drink. Because I got to get a drink. She's gone. Hey, is this Hall & Oates? She's gone. I think to heaven. She's gone. I'm looking for a particular video. I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm going to turn it down because I think this is what some of you, because I spoke about it at the seminar, but I didn't play the video. And I actually was planning on doing that. Dang it. I need to do a search. People, Jehovah's Witnesses have been talked about. They said,
You Jehovah's Witnesses, you'll let your child die than to get a blood transfusion.
you have no idea how ignorant you sound when you say things like that. Transfusion alternative strategies, safe, simple, and effective. No blood medicine meets the challenge. You see, the doctors, they have come up with what's called, well, blood fractions and surgical procedures. I do non-blood expenditures. What is a non-blood expenditure? Well, basically, it is a chemical that mimics blood. It allows oxygen and the fluid to mimic blood to pass through the system. Because it's not so much, ladies and gentlemen, of blood loss. It is volume. And I'm not talking about volume as in, she's gone, what went wrong? Sorry. As you can tell, I love this song. And I just want to know, she's gone. But I don't know where I don't know where it is. There it is right there. Whew. We're going to stop that before we play the rest, okay? What I want y'all to do is I want y'all to hear a little bit of something, something. So we're going to go down here. I'll take care of this page in a minute. That's Google Mail. My mail. Alright. Now, let's do something. Transfusion. Alternative strategies. Safe, simple, and effective. Jehovah's Witnesses observe the biblical injunction, abstain from blood. Yes, they do. The Bible says that you are to abstain from it. Ladies and gentlemen, this call is coming from Illinois, and it cannot be answered because I'm talking to you all. I may call them back, but everybody's not understanding. Right now it's 5:30. People are not allowing me to have my life. They're calling at all kind of times, and I don't know what they're calling about, but we all know that they're calling about something about a question. Okay. I want to listen to just a little bit because there's a part that I'm trying to play. So I'm going to shut up for a moment because I think it is important that you all know that it's not Jehovah's Witnesses, that there are 150,000 doctors around the world
in Berlin,
who are trying to
Professor
help
Roland
do bloodless surgeries along with alternative
Hetzer
strategies
at the
to save
German Heart
life.
Institute corrects a ventricular septal defect in a 10-month.
The speed here, I'm not doing a lot, so the speed shouldn't be that slow, but that is slow. It should be playing.
Old girl. In Jena, Professor Johannes Scheele at Friedrich Schiller University Clinic performs a liver resection.
Roughly 30%, which is left behind.
In London, Peter Earnshaw, a fellow of the Royal College who practices at Guy's and St. Thomas hospitals, performs a total knee replacement. Challenging surgeries, but they share an added dimension.
I want you to see they talked about 3 surgeries, one dealing with heart, one dealing with a knee, and I forgot what the other one was dealing with. Nobody wants to see these images because for most people that's nasty. But if you're the one in the hospital and you're the one who needs emergency surgery or any other type of work done, ladies and gentlemen, then you need to know about information like this. You need to learn that there are things out there that are cost effective, that are less expensive, and that the recovery time is a whole lot faster, and people are surviving. But you Jehovah's Witnesses, you hate medicine. The doctors who came up with non-blood expenditures were Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses are doctors too. God, people.
In each of these cases, the team had committed itself to operating without allogeneic blood transfusion.
The teams have committed themselves to operating without blood. Why?
Today, in 150 countries, more than 100,000 physicians have made a similar commitment to bloodless medicine and surgery because they believe transfusion alternative strategies are simple, safe, effective.
Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. The videos are there. It's on the site. You saw I just put in blood and it showed the videos. They're simple. They're not even that long, but they're informative. So that you can talk to your doctor and say, look, hey, what do you guys know about this bloodless surgery thing? To where you don't spend a lot of money for storing blood. So that's just a suggestion. But let's get back to because we're going on an hour and I don't want to take up any much more of your time. So I got to get some sleep and I got to get ready to do the videos and I got some paperwork I have to do. Basically what I did is exactly what you're seeing now. Gave the people an idea of who I am. Because a lot of people have the wrong concept. I'm not here to do the work for you. I never volunteered for that. That's what sitcom are going to be all about. You're going to pay for the services. And I am going to bring in those of you who have knowledge of what I'm doing and who are willing to listen and follow the strategies, who are willing to meet with me online in webinars where we discuss this stuff, okay? Where we discuss it, put together techniques to help people. That will be coming soon, so just be patient with me. The lawsuit, people, I didn't give you a date on the video on purpose. I told you to stay tuned, so stay tuned. Before December 1st, there will be a video up, including on Friday. Well, the first thing I told the people is that the problem is everybody's doing all these processes and they're just coming into the tail end and they're listening to these people tell them, well, no, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do that. And they're all listening to them tell them this and nobody is finding out why do I need to do that. Shouldn't that be your first question? Why I got to do that? Why can't I just do this? It's a lot easier. It don't work that way, boys and girls. So I showed them where certain techniques got their start, including the reason why you give notice. The commercial lien process was a viable process. It taught you how to give notice and how to do your paperwork. It was basically a notary presentment process. I know you've heard of notary presentments. Well, it was the so-called commercial lien strategists who came up with all of that. the processes that everybody else is doing. That's where it got its start. The UCC filings, they didn't just start that recently. I've done it. I showed them the website where my UCC filings are that are just sitting there. I'm not worried about those things. That's not my concern. And that's exactly what I told everybody. There's a lady. The very next day she said, well, look, you're not explaining much. I said, I'm explaining a whole lot. I said, you haven't heard these people talk about the fact of how much information they're gaining? Well, look, you're talking about the Fiscal Service Director, and you mentioned Fiscal Service Department. And I've been doing research, and I can't find nothing on the Fiscal Service Department. I told her, and she's not going to be too happy with me mimicking her like that. But I told her, I said, first of all, what is your question? Well, I need to know what the Fiscal Service Department is. I said, by the fact that you asked me that question, it lets me know that you haven't done the research. I've been on Google looking, blah, blah. I said, look, if you had, then your question would not be the way you just posed it to me. It would be a much different question because you would already know the gist of what you're asking, so you would avoid being less specific. Ladies and gentlemen, she told me, well, I don't understand. So what I did is I took her to the internet and I looked up fiscal services. And it said something about finances. And I said, there you go. See, right here, it says it deals with finances. But you said Fiscal Service Department. And I found the U.S. Treasury. I said, the question wasn't on whether or not the U.S. Treasury has a Fiscal Service Department. The question was on contacting the Fiscal Service Department as to what is it and why do you need to contact them. Ladies and gentlemen, after we went over the definition and I explained a little bit more, and she finally started to click in. You could actually see it. And I said, now the reason why I took you through all this, because she was getting frustrated because I wasn't answering her question. But I wasn't answering her question on purpose. Do you know why? Because if I answered her question, she's accepting the answer and walking on. She has no foundation. So as Jesus says about the seed that fell along rocky soil, as the moment she meets opposition, she withers away. She doesn't stand her ground. No, we have to plant seeds that are going to take deep root. So that means you got to do some research. So I kept her mind on that subject, having her think about words in particular and the way she was asking questions. 2 hours later, in the seminar, I'm highlighting Title 7 CFR 1901.508. And I have C, number 1, and the first 2 paragraphs up there. And she, while I'm talking to someone else in the group, she says, the Director of Fiscal Services. And I said, hold on, everyone, because nobody paid attention to when she said that out loud. She wasn't saying it out loud to the group. She was saying it out loud to herself. And I said, hold on, y'all. Y'all didn't get what just happened. So I'm going to explain it to you. We just sat up and had a conversation about the Fiscal Service Department and the Fiscal Service Director. And I said she got frustrated. She got upset because she didn't think I was responding to her question. And I said, you all did not get what just happened. I said, she just said the Director of Fiscal Services. Nobody was talking about fiscal services, but she just said the Director of Fiscal Services out loud. And we weren't even looking at that screen, but she was. I said, that's what I was doing, was making sure that when it was on her mind, she would know what she was talking about. And there it is. She just proved to herself that she knew and that it was on her mind and that she's never going to forget that point or the conversation that we had. Ladies and gentlemen, I told people, I said, that's what I do. That's what I've been trained to do, is to keep stuff in your head so it stays there. You should have seen the Lori, Valerie, and Lizette, all three of them, repeating things they've heard me say in video throughout the entire seminar. I didn't say nothing to them at the time, that they're doing the same thing that young lady did. But ladies and gentlemen, these are techniques. Playing the music in the background? Yeah, I know. I got to get back to my music. Y'all know me. We ain't going to do the blood transfusion. We just going to go to my music. Where my music at? Who let the... Anyway, where my music at? I don't see my music. Because we're not going to go on much longer. Oh, there it is right there. 70s. She's gone, y'all. Like I said, brings you back, doesn't it? So, and this is going to be the last story. I'm going to let you all go. See, because some people don't like the way I do my videos. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say it again. Some people don't like the way I do my video. Now, you automatically picked up on the fact that I said I and my. And you're going to say there is no I in team. Yeah, you're right. There is no I in team, but there is me. That's right. There is me in team. What do you mean there's me? There's T-E-A-M. That's right. So you now see you got T and me. T-E-A and M-E. You even have meat. You can sit up there and have meat both ways when you mix around team. But no matter what you say, my videos done my way. And you know the unique thing about it? People are learning. Why? Because I have a God who taught his people how to teach people and how to educate people. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses give free Bible studies. Why? Because we're not trying to convert nobody. Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. I got 2 fingers you can sit and spin for the rest of your life. I have never been talked into doing anything. I have never followed the crowd. Ever. Nobody convinced me to serve Jehovah. Nobody convinced me to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't make choices like that. You people should already know that by now. That nobody talks me into doing anything. The lady who arranged the seminar, what she did is she took my advice. She went down to try to get her DBA. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you how to do the DBA, but it ain't going to be tonight and it ain't going to be yesterday. Okay, so just be patient. Well, she went and she did her DBA. But the people at the office told her she can't do it. Said the statute doesn't permit it. She turned around and she walked away. Disappointed. Now, I haven't even left Chicago yet. I'm actually in the car on my way with Faye to the airport. Thank you, Faye. I appreciate it very much. And she calls and she says, Brett, I went down there and they told me I couldn't file it. And I said, really? Is that what they told you? Well, what'd you say when they told you that? I just left. Really? So they said, what could I do for you? And you said you could help me file my DBA and fictitious name statement. And they said to you, no. And you said, okay. And you left. Excuse me? What statute did they say gave them the authority to say no? I didn't ask them. What you mean you didn't ask them? You just let somebody tell you no and you walk away? That's why I don't answer your questions, people. That's why I don't care about your opinions regarding anything I say or do. Because you are quick to sit up there and let somebody else tell you no.
and accept their answer and walk away, but you want me to prove what I do. Somebody actually asked me, well, have you ever did any of the stuff you're talking about? People, that was somebody who didn't know me, because every last one of you know that I practice what I preach. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, I told her, why don't you try taking your behind back in there and asking her to show you the law? And I say, and if she raises her voice to you again, if she tells you no again, then you need to ask to speak to her supervisor. I said, but you are supposed to be standing on your own square, on your own foundation. You are supposed to have done the research, so you need to stand on what you know. You don't have to force nobody to listen to you. You don't have to force nobody to do something. You just need to rebut their presumptions. Ladies and gentlemen, she said okay. Then she asked me a question about the birth certificate. I told you about that on the last video. Okay, same lady. So she goes back in and she calls me up. I'm in the airport, because I'm in the airport about 2.5 hours early on purpose. But she calls me up. She says, they filed it. We got it done. I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, the lady went and she said no. And I said, well, where does it say it in statute? And she says, give me a moment. I'm going to go find it. And she went, gave her a moment. And the lady came back. Couldn't find it. Well, what the young lady didn't tell me is that she had already gone over the statute. She already knew what it said. She had already gone over the statute, knew what it said, and accepted no for an answer. She knew before she went in there what the statute said, because she did her research. Give her credit for that, y'all. But she accepted no for an answer. Well, she said the lady came back upset. Why? Because she knew. Well, she knew that she was wrong. That there was nothing in the statute that says that she could not file what she was trying to file, the way she was trying to file it. Uh-oh. Wheezy, we in trouble. Because you know what happened? She started raising her voice to the young lady. The young lady who went back and had egg on her face because the statute did not say what she said it said. Yep, she started raising her voice. Started getting angry. She was upset. So they kindly asked her to speak with her supervisor. She goes and gets the supervisor, ladies and gentlemen, because I told her that's what she should do. The supervisor comes out, tries to give the same bull story that they've been giving to everyone else. And she stood her ground. She stood on her process. She stood on her knowledge, not on Brett's knowledge. People, you can't stand on my knowledge. I can't teach you how to stand on my knowledge, but I can teach you how to stand on yours. And she said, they filed it. We got it done. I told them how to do it. That was part of the seminar. See, that's what I do. When I come and I do these mini seminars, I give you the blanks. I fill in the blanks so you can finish the process. Not leave one process and go to another, but so that you can finish all of them. All of them. And then I tell you about the things that I'm not saying on video. Go ahead and ask anybody who was at the so-called Chicago seminar, mini sim. Go ahead and ask them if I did not give them information that I have not talked about on video in detail. I got people saying, but we want you to come to us. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand. I know some of you think you can afford me. This is the way it works. Many people can't do 4 days. I'm giving 4 days of my time. It is $500 a day. Not $200, not $560, not $1,000. $500 a day. Why? Because you get more than 10 hours of my time. You see, you get the entire seminar, which is 8 hours a day. Plus you get the breaks and lunch, because I don't stop talking during the breaks and lunch. I take people's questions during the breaks and lunch. See, Sunday we didn't go to lunch, we stayed there. And for the entire lunch, I answered people's questions. And then after, I went to a restaurant twice. The second time, this is what you guys got to understand. I'm not there to take people's money. I lost $100. Plus, we had an arrangement for $60 for the transportation. Because, see, I live 70 miles from the airport. So instead of calling Uber or one of them, I take the train. Well, that's $30 each way. I didn't get paid for that. That came out of my pocket. It's okay. The person forgot. So I'm not bringing this. I didn't bring it up. I purposely didn't bring it up. I could have. Even when I lost $100 because she said she gave it to me and I have to take her at her word, and I believe she did. I honestly do. I lost $100. You know what I said? The $100 I lost, the person who found it must have needed it, because that's how my God works. I'm not hurt by the $100. Why? People, I don't care about money. My sister-in-law, that little clinking that you heard earlier, the phone notifier, that was my sister-in-law thanking me for filling up her SUV. I used her SUV. I used my brother's car and her car. So, of course I'm going to help you with gas. Plus, she's using the car because the SUV, she's got 3 daughters. And all they do is go to school. She works at the school. All they do is go to school. And she's using the other car because the SUV is on empty. We ain't having that. Here. There you go. And she's thanking me. She don't have to thank me for that. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, she's making these nutritious smoothies because I have vitamins and herbs, and they make smoothies for me. Okay? And I cannot sit up there and dictate to them anything. No. I owe them. They don't owe me. And they're family, ladies and gentlemen. But let me help you out so that you get it. They keep thinking that they owe me. My brother and her. They don't owe me. Alright, getting back to the story so that we can end this video and let you guys get on to your lives. The young lady, when she called me and told me they got it done, I said, are you expecting me to sit up here and say congratulations or something? Because something happened that should have happened in the first place if you had stood up and spoke up? I said, no, I'm not congratulating you on that. I said, what I'm going to tell you is now that you went through all of that, now you can help stop somebody else from going through it by talking with your group, by networking with the people whom you guys put together to be there. Remember, no more than 20 people. They paid for the flight. Now, we took Spirit Airlines, ladies and gentlemen. Spirit Airlines is not a bad airline. I know everybody talks about it, but the same way as they used to talk about Southwest Airline. Spirit Airline is okay. The stewardess and the stewards on the plane, the flight attendants, they were cordial. I mean, it really is a backwards airline because you get what you pay for. The company doesn't pay their staff very well. But I didn't have any problems. I did okay. Somebody is asking a question on the YouTube videos, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read you the question. This is somebody who hasn't watched the other videos. But I'm going to read you the question because it just came in. And so I figured you guys, and look, right here on the page, the infant update. Okay? I got to now stop the video from playing because right...
And now I'd like to talk about Soul Plane. I've seen what's around the corner. I've seen what's over the horizon. And I promise you, you niggas have nothing to celebrate. And no, I won't get there with you. I'm going to Canada.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. Look, the 10/17/2016 says infant update. Okay. On that video with Martin Luther King, it says you mentioned the name of the person who had discussed the BC about, whom I had discussed the BC about. Oh, no, that was the other person. I need the one from this comment. That person I know. Dang it, where is it? The comment I was looking at was the person. I've seen that comment. This one says, what is infant? A person within age, not of age, and not of full age. A person under age of 21 years. A minor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, they're giving me, I think it appears to be some old case law, and apparently they haven't watched the video. And they say somebody's got a template out there. I don't care if somebody's got a template. Ladies and gentlemen, oh God, ladies and gentlemen, this is Yusuf L. Ladies and gentlemen, Yusuf L is watching my videos and leaving comments because he's so stuck in what he thought he knew. I don't have a problem with this man. This man started talking about me and what I was telling you all as if I was wrong. And what did I go and do? Did I not go and tell all of you and show all of you where I'm getting the information? Ask the people in Chicago if I did not go over the infant estate with them and show them not only from scripture but from law what an infant is, and that this is what everything talks about all of these years. So on Friday we'll be doing an infant estate update. We'll be doing a bankruptcy filing update. We'll be doing a lawsuit update, and then we'll be updating everything about every other day. Sorry, the videos, as you see, they take a little bit of time, but the information. And yes, some of you, you're not going to like the information about me discussing about Jehovah's Witnesses, but if you pay attention, none of that was to convert anybody and bring everybody on board. Get on board, little children, because I could care less. I really could, honestly. I'm not trying to save your lives. I am trying to stop people from suffering, because I know billions are about to die. That's all I ask for, is to be able to take away some of the suffering, to give you some peace for a moment. That's what I asked, and I'm getting what I asked for. You guys don't mind that, do you? I'm grateful that you don't. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, at 1:22, I say what I say. Adieu.